Welcome in, Cowboys Nation, to another episode of the Sky into Eye Show. And unfortunately, we reconvene after a loss. It's been a while. It's been about a month since the Cowboys suffered defeat. We were high on a 3-game win streak, 2 phenomenal victories. However, there were some things within those victories that I think came out in this game on Thursday that we'll talk about. Skywalker still here with our lovely co-host Aisha Morrison, aka 2I. How you feeling?
Um, it's week 14, 15. What week is this?
Something like that. I lost track at this point.
So how I feel is that we're in week whatever week it is. That's how I feel. Is that the weeks are starting to run into each other.
It's December.
I'm
Put it
getting
that
into
way.
draft film. Just
Yeah. The Cowboys loss on Thursday is starting to send a lot of folk, not me just yet, but at this point it's getting close, to draft work and draft film per se. And you said something before the show about, I still feel good about Dak in December though, because he plays well. And I'm like, he's one of 53 though. That's the thing. We need this team to collectively get their act together the remaining of the year if they want to do something miraculous.
yeah, because he made it work. He made it work like on on Thursday, despite the tackles struggling. Obviously we're gonna get deeper
Yeah.
into like them bracketing, Pickens, see the loss of CD. He made it work. I mean, they brought it within 3, which is insane to think about, but they did, and they kind of got us to ease back in. And I think that's why the loss kind of sucks more because you start seeing some of the, like, obviously defensively they just still struggle, but offensively you start seeing some of the stuff that we are accustomed to them doing later in that game.
Yeah,
It was too late.
it
These
was,
slow
it was too
starts are
late.
too it's too late. These slow starts have been a trend for them, and it came back and bit them in the ass. And then like you said, it wasn't just the slow starts, it's also the starting field position. It's all those things. So it was ugly.
Well, I mentioned this. We talk about complimentary football for the Cowboys in
Mm,
regards to winning aspect. Like, hey, what Cowboys have to do X, Y, Z, offense, defense, special teams, win the game. This was a complimentary football effort in losing because each level or each unit of this team had their hands in this loss. And not just, you can say, well, Sky, that's every week. Not really. But this was quite literally everything was connected, right? The hand bone connected to the wrist bone connected. Like it was that type of situation. And I want to kind of dive in. We are going to dive into each unit, if you will, and kind of break it down as best as we can. Let's start off with the special teams, too, because
whew.
this is something that I think has been on the back burner because you've had a pretty bad defense for most of the season. And then you went on a win streak. The offense is doing well. That the special teams is kind of in the corners, just hiding out. Like,
Mm.
please don't notice me. Or they're in that kid in the class, like, please don't pick me to read. I can barely read 3 pages. Please don't pick me. Well,
Or it's
guess
a
what?
group project and anger and
We
anger and Aubrey carrying.
we picking you right now. It's your time to read, and you can't just roll up Brandon Aubrey and anger anymore. Right? We need to talk about this special teams. They gave up 261 yards in kick returns yardage. And it wasn't just one of those games where, Cowboys score 45 points. They have to kick it off so many times. And that's how, no, this was a situation where they were returning this rock across the 40 or up to the 40 every single damn
Their
time.
starting field position, every time they got the ball was at their 43.
Tom
Dallas is
Kennedy.
43, I think.
Tom Kennedy. Not Robert Kennedy's nephew or not. Tom Kennedy had 40, average 40 yards per return
Bruh,
by himself.
it was horrible. I asked myself, I tweeted, I said, "Hey, whose idea is it to keep kicking it to him? Just let it be a touchback.
Yep.
Just let it be a touchback. Just let them start from the 25." But you're literally spotting them. You're giving them 40 yards every time they touch the ball. They barely got to get across the 50. And respect, we love Aubrey, but a lot of field goal kickers are kicking long kicks like it's normal now. Like this is very normalized now. So, and with their offense, you also aren't putting your defense in a good position in doing that and continuing to do that. I thought that that was a terrible decision by whoever
Yeah.
decided to keep kicking it to their returner. And y'all know y'all can't cover nobody.
And B had broke it down very well, where he talked about how they were deliberately running downfield and trying to get two guys outside, two guys and squeeze, and they were just hitting that lane, that gap, and guys were getting turned, and wasn't anything special from the Lions, but the Cowboys, I guess, were trying new things or trying things, and it didn't work out. And according to Shoddy, he said they're going to make changes on special teams, and I think a little bit late on that because this isn't the first time. I mean,
This has been like that.
there's been games throughout the season where it's like, yo, he's kind of they're kind of getting a lot of yards on kick return, and
Yeah.
nothing is no one's addressed it because it wasn't this egregious as it was on Thursday.
No, excuse me. I mean, also too, I think what game was that?
Broncos was bad too. I remember that.
Broncos was bad. Like this has been a trend. And then on the opposing side of it, I know you're gonna get to it. You're not getting much from your return game.
Yeah, you flip it to the other side.
Penalties.
This is not the All Pro Cavante Turpin anymore in regards to either side. Really, we're in punt return or kick return. Like we're not getting that guy flipping the field. Now punt returns a little different nowadays. It's tough. These guys are barely returning. I think he has like 6 returns, but 54 yards on the season is kind of crazy or whatever it's been. It's like less than 100 yards return yards. And kickoff wise, yeah, he's getting a lot of yardage, but he hasn't hit one, right? He hasn't hit that touchdown yet. He hasn't hit that, hey, now we're set up at the 30 or something crazy. And then you're getting these weird fair catch penalties. I don't know what that's about. And I think Nick Sorensen, who we got to have a conversation about, kind of got in on him in regards to that. I don't know what Terp is. Terp pressing? Is he trying now to make a play where now he's, let me try to trick him a bit, but it is baffling to me, and I hope somebody asks Nick Sorensen this week, like, what's up special team wise, but really, what's going on with Turpin in these fair catches?
It's just the decision making. I saw Bobby Belt posted this tweet. He said, in the last 12 days, Cavante Turpin has been flagged for 2 individual invalid fair catch signals. In the last two, well, in the 2,265 days before that, the entire NFL was flagged for an invalid fair catch signal one time.
That's crazy.
So it's an insane stat. It's an insane stat, but it's also too just it's the decision making because it's not even just like there's been instances where he has the opportunity to return and then he's just taking a knee or he's doing a fair catch. And I understand I don't know all the detailed rules about special teams. Christy Scales will probably be a better person to talk to about it. But she's even stated that it's not enough. You're not getting enough from the return game. And when you look at Dallas's drives, even in this game, dog, they're starting at their 20 or closer to their goal line. So I just think that it's something that I'm concerned about because we saw their special teams unit flip the field for them, and it just made it so much easier on their offense.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I don't know who it was on. I can't remember quite the player, but that penalty was actually declined. So there was another penalty on
Mhm.
that play. So you get 2 penalties, special team
It
penalties
was
for holding
it was Shamar.
Shamar James.
Shamar James, and he's had a couple holds on some pretty good returns on special teams as well. So it's like, we don't talk about it a lot. We talk about the people we miss. We talk about Micah. We talk about G Law. We talk about them,
No,
baby.
Bones
But Bones
yeah,
is missed in this organization, and seeing a downtick in the special teams efficiency matters because they were able to at least maintain some efficiency last year, even with all the injuries, even with
maintained
all of
that
those things.
they were the best unit.
They were
Turpin
one of the
was
best units.
yeah, Turpin was unbelievable
Yeah.
last year. I mean, obviously
And
Arbery and Anger and
mhm,
kick, and then coverage was better. When he left the building, I think, well, at least I speak for myself. I thought, well, yeah, we're not going to be the same special team. It's just not going to
yeah,
happen. I just didn't think it would be this bad.
it is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I think
Excuse me.
I want to mention this and we can move on to the defense side of the ball. Isaiah Stanback, who a career special teams player, right, won the Super Bowl as a special teamer. I mean, I don't think he played in the sense, but he was on the team in the meetings and he did a lot of special teams with the Cowboys. He had a fantastic take on this. He was like, you know, me being around special teams for so long, there's 2 types of special teams coaches. There's the kind of old grizzled veteran that's been around, knows the ins and outs and the tricks and trade and how to get this thing done. Then there's kind of that either youthful guy or there's that veteran guy that has the youthfulness to them that fires these guys up and gets them to run through a wall for you. And Bones to me was a combination of both. Bones
Hmm.
is a veteran, but he's also that youthful guy that has that energy, and dudes loved and played for him. I remember when I interviewed CJ Goodwin years ago,
Mm.
he could not stop raving about Bones Fossil. And then you go to camps and you see his energy in regards to Bones. You hear his energy on the speaker, right? He's the guy talking. It's never McCarthy. It's always him. And then you see him on the sideline. He has that energy. I think it was Stanback who said he doesn't see the guy say anything. Nick Sorensen. So he's never been a great special teams coach. He was a special teams coach for a few years in Jacksonville. They were terrible. Then he was a defensive coordinator guy, and now he's back to being special teams. So he's not like a real special teams type of guy. John
Yeah,
Harbaugh
it's
was
not
that
his
type of guy.
bread and butter. Yeah.
Bones was that type of guy. And it's, so if you're not the grizzled vet that knows how to get the best out of these guys, and you're not that you don't have that youthful energy that get these guys to run through a wall for you, you're just kind of here.
Mm.
And I think they need to look at making a change next year because you can't have look, say what you want to say about Turpin. Very much like the defense, just last year he's an all pro.
Yeah.
Just the previous seasons, they were all pro. Your Cowboys team was better at covering and everything. And a year later, I got to look at the coaching as well as obviously the player.
Well, I want to say, so the coaching matters, but I also want to say in regards to the player, I wouldn't be surprised if when the season ends, we find out that Cavante Turpin is having some type of cleanup or something like that. I think he is playing a little bit more banged up than what the public know. And also too, I
Was
think
he?
that
Is he
that
banged up here?
I think I don't know about that. I didn't, but I do know that he is dealing with an upper body injury. And so when you take, I mean, special teams is vicious. So I wonder even if there's some hesitancy or anything like that with dealing with that upper body injury. So just wanted to add that because you said player
Possible.
and coach. So I want to make sure that
I mean, possible. A lot of these guys get cleanups after the season. They play through these things, but I hate to be that guy. You on the field, you can't do that.
no, you can't
You
do
know,
that.
you,
You
you
can't
can't
be
have
fair catching, but not fair catching for
yeah.
real. Like,
You can't have a statistical anomaly like this. That's there's just no excuse for it. So hopefully they clean this up moving forward because if the defensive side of the ball is going to look like they looked, prior to the trades, you're going to need the other two units to kind of uptick. And this defensive side of the ball was bad again. Again, we talk about complementary football. The special teams inadvertently complimented the defense in their poor performance by setting them up, et cetera, et cetera. Um, when you have a defense who has not been taking the ball away at a high level, who does not sack the quarterback at a high level, who doesn't make a bunch of game changing plays at a high level, you can't have other aspects of your team aid in that. And special teams wise, that happen offensively with the turnovers that happen. But at the end of the day, they didn't do some of the things that they were doing coming into this game. And that was that middle eight getting stops.
mm,
The Cowboys, I said this last week, I never expect this defense to really be good, even post trade. I'm like, I just need them to be good at getting stops so that the offense can either figure things out and then start putting their foot on the pedal, or B, win the game for you. Right? Like the
mhm.
offense can win the game for you if you give them an opportunity, I think now. Earlier in the season, it was kind of wishy-washy. Uh, they didn't do that. They started off, it was the inverse, right? They started off decent. Game is 10-6. All game. You know what I hate to hear? Well, the Cowboys offense didn't score 28 points when they got those 3 stops. Guys, this is football. This is the NFL. Like,
Mm.
if the game is 10-6 after the first quarter and a half, okay, you got a game. That's no excuse to say defensively, damn it, our offense only kicked 2 field goals. I guess we got to pack it up. Do you think the Texans did that last night?
Mm.
Do you think the Chiefs did that last night? No. They said this game is tight. We got to keep playing so that we can give our other units a chance.
Mhm.
And that didn't happen for Dallas. Their last punt was about in the second quarter, midway through, and they didn't punt the rest of the way. And if you go back and look at the Eagles and the Chiefs game, the difference was the middle eight.
Yeah.
They got consecutive stops to allow their offense to get it going and then put their foot on the pedal. The Eagles, it was 8 straight stops. The Chiefs, it was 4 straight, and it was 5 out of 6. The
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys defense didn't allow that the other day. And before we break down, X's and O's and things like that, I just kind of wanted to bring that to light that was probably the biggest difference is that you couldn't generate stops like you were previously to let your offense catch back up.
What's so frustrating too is that they were 3 of 8 on third down. The Lions. It's just that
It was
there
before
was
third
there
down.
was a lot of situations. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Mhm.
They didn't get into third down
Yeah.
enough because of some of those passing situations. Obviously, Gibbs out the backfield just really gave you fits. But I mean, yeah, man, like they weren't able to get stops, and they've struggled on third down. And really weird about the Cowboys defense is that they will be really good in the first 2 downs, and then on third down, it's just like I don't know what happens on that down
Or
because they will be good on first and second.
or second and long, they kind of get deer in the headlights.
Yeah. Or
It's
third and long, like, it's so weird to me because first down, you be like, "Oh, okay." Second down, you be like, "Oh, okay." Third down, you be like, "They about to score, ain't they?" Because
well,
that's
well,
just
well, in
kinda
this game, it wasn't like that because you just
yeah,
said it. The third downs was fine. It was more they kept getting in second and long because of penalties, right, or
yeah,
something, and it was like, yes, we got them backed up. Second and 19, second and
and they would
17.
convert, and that's so
It's
deflating.
like, bro, what?
It's so exhaustingly deflating,
Yeah.
and I wanna say too, like, I know we're talking about predominantly the Cowboys, like, hate to say it, shout out to the Lions. They had a really good game plan. They knew exactly what it was that they wanted to attack you at, and they stuck to it.
Now, okay, so let's get to the X's and O's of this
Yeah, I
game
mean, we can talk about the numbers
because
more if you want to because it mattered. I mean,
yeah, let's get to the
you were
X's
one
and
of
O's.
three in the red zone. They were 4 or 5.
Yeah, let's get to the X's and O's of this thing because Matty Eberflus, come here, come here,
Mm-mm.
sir.
You got a
Uh,
button?
no, I mean whatever you want to do here, man. Matty Eberflus, brother. What? Look, I will say this: Amon St. Brown coming into this game was a surprise to me.
Very
But
surprising.
I'm a fan, so I'm allowed to be surprised. If he questionable on that list, and you got uh, sources, et cetera, you should be preparing as if he's playing. Okay.
Yeah.
Why the hell early in that game is Reddy Stewart playing 15 yards off and they only need like 5 or 7 or whatever the heck it was? And then he's playing on the inside shade with no line. And not just that play, but many plays.
Many of them.
We're playing in 8 Mile somewhere, and I'm just confused as to why we're reverting back to this. And this isn't necessarily about a man zone. Everybody want to go back for. It's just there's certain times and places for certain calls, and not just the man zone, but then when you do man up, how are you allowing Marquise Bell to man up on their fastest player, probably one of the fastest players in the National Football League in JMO? How, Flus? Like, you got to talk to me. And this is how I know we went back to the old Cowboys defense. Shout out to Patrick Nosey Walker, who had a fantastic stat that I said, what the hell? So we know this Lions offense is quick, right? Want to get the ball out quick, rhythm, timing-based offense. Another reason why you should probably disrupt the routes, but that's a different story. So Jared Goff had a success rate of 62% on his quick passes, which was the highest of his entire Lions career. So to me, that tells me you're giving them a ton of room. And shots, like you said, shots out to their staff for just saying, oh, if this is how they're going to play us, why would we allow they don't have a crazy pass rush, but do have Kenny Clark and Osa and Quinn, and
Mhm.
those guys can get to you. Why will we revert from what we're doing? We'll just try to beat you quickly. Now,
Just go quick game.
shouts out to Golf. He made a couple plays under pressure, but not early. One more here, and I'll let you go. Bobby dropped the stat of the night that day, the key stat, I should say, where he said the Cowboys pressured Jared Goff 4 times in his first 6 dropbacks by blitzing him 3 times. They pressured him 4 times over the next 29 dropbacks, and they only blitzed 5 times the rest of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think your defensive coordinator just has a clue right now. And he does. He's not stupid, but he's stubborn. Or maybe he is. I don't know. But
I don't know what it is because if it with a game as big as that for you to do to know, like we watched the film on Jared Goff, you watch like the numbers are stifling. The statistics tell you that if you are able to get quick pressure on him or get pressure on him, that he struggles with that. And to not do it, and again, if you want to use the excuse of oh well, they're vulnerable on the back end and all that stuff, you're vulnerable anyway. You're vulnerable anyway. Like so, you might as well do something to try to affect the quarterback.
yeah, you have to like. I'm a big fan of zone blitzing. I'm a big fan of changing the picture.
We've
I'm a,
seen that.
I'm a
We've
big
seen
fan of
that
you don't have
from
to
the
just be
linebacker position.
oh, we're going to play too high and we're going to have our guys play off, 10, 12 yards. I mean, you don't have to do that all the time, especially against, in my opinion, against this offense. You needed to be a little bit more physical. You needed to kind of combo coverage things. Okay, look, I'm afraid of J-Mo beating me deep, so I'll play cover 2 over here, man, but over here, we're going to play cover 3 or we're going to play. Like, you got to mix it up. You got to make Jared have to pat that ball extra tick and then your guys get home. Got
No,
to.
is it? So I'm like, I tried to give him some grace, given, he's had guys in and out. He's had guys dealing with
It's the
injuries.
league, man.
But at the same token, it's like, this is stuff that when I talked to the guys at training camp, they were talking about combo coverage. They were talking about man to the field, zone to the boundary, and all this different stuff. So I'm sitting here like, well, what changed that is having him? Personally, I thought both of your coordinators kind of played a little hesitant.
Yeah, but one of them scored 30 points in the game. The other one gave up 44.
Gave up 44. No, you're right.
So it's
And
like,
it's just this I don't understand. I really want to know what is the reason for, because yeah, can we respect Amon-Ra St. Brown and his speed? Sure. Can you respect J-Mo and his speed? Sure. But to just be playing this off coverage, and if you got a quarterback that can go quick game, I mean, you're giving them free releases.
and one thing I cannot stand to see, we talked about this, I think, before the season, is the depth of their blitzing from their linebackers is just ridiculous to me.
It's too deep.
It's ridiculous to me. It's elementary. You're not disguising anything, dude. They're 7 yards back, and then you blitz them. It's too late. He does the same thing with the corner. Like, this guy has no creative bone in his body, which is why if you're going to keep him around, and you have to give him a bunch of dudes. Like, he's not a
They have to make
coordinator.
up for they have to make up for the lack of innovation with the scheme. You got to just have guys that are really good.
He's not a coordinator that can elevate talent.
Mm.
He doesn't even take the best talent that he has and elevates it. And this is something I posted on Twitter. I'll put it here out on the show. I'm already out on him, but if this does not change, I don't know why you would bring him back. DeMarvion Overshown has returned, and it's been 4 games, and DeMarvion Overshown has not shown a single splash play, right? Like, and it didn't take long for Demo to show a splash play in 2024. And some can say, well, Sky is injuries and things. I will go out and say this right now. DeMarvion Overshown, from a physical standpoint, does not look hindered
at all.
It's not a physical thing. Now, I saw a play where he got caught up in the wash from a mentally, because he bit on the run action, but that's mental. That ain't physical. From a physical standpoint, he's fine.
He's fine. Yeah, he's fine.
In 2024, he was blitzed, and this is PFR. I look other aspects depending where you look. PFR says 51 times. Next Gen Stats say 82 times. But I look at Next Gen Stats and some of their blitzes, they kind of count certain things as a blitz. It doesn't count. So I went with PFR. He was blitzed 51 times in 2024 in 12 starts. He's already at 4 starts. And if you look at PFR, they say he was blitzed twice. If you look at Next Gen Stats, he was blitzed 4 times. Ladies and gentlemen, that has to change. In 2024, when he did blitz, 5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, 20 pressures. 20. This year, 0 sacks, 0 pressures, 1 tackle for loss. Blitzed less than 5 times. Here's my gripe. It's not that he's not blitzing him. It's that you see the film from 2024. You know he can do this. So you don't have to wait. You don't gotta be like, you know what? Zim waited a little bit. Zim took a couple weeks to say, you know what? And then he figured out, oh, he's a demon. Let's go. Turn that thing up. He cranked it. You have the evidence that DeMarvion Overshown can be used as a weapon, but you refuse to do it, especially given a time where you don't have a dynamic edge rusher that's consistent in that manner. You got a rookie who's up on a come up. You got a veteran in Clowney who splashes and pops here and there, but you don't
Missed
have
him
a
too.
yeah, you missed him. You don't have a consistent guy, and I think DeMarvion Overshown could be that guy as a blitzer, as a weapon, not a
Yeah.
every down rusher.
No, I agree. I mean, his explosiveness. Huh. Huh. Oh,
See,
man.
to I tired of this damn team right now.
Nah, man. Like sometimes my brain is tired and I get the yawnies. I apologize.
You good? I think
My
our
bad.
fans of the show know that by now.
My bad, y'all. But nah, like I think he definitely is a weapon. He's a guy that you can also use in some spy situations because of the safety background and that type of stuff. So he's very smart. He's very intelligent. And he's one of the better tacklers you have as well, which is another situation you run into that you ran into this week. Is that when you there are well this the week before is like, yeah, you are blitzing these nickel blitzes and doing stuff like that, but these dudes are not getting there. Like you were saying, like these guys aren't getting there. So bet on a guy that can get there. And to go even further, because I know we're gonna get into the second level because they chewed. You hear me? They chewed your second level to
You
bits.
talking about the linebackers?
Yeah, they
Oh yeah,
choose your second level to bids. He is the most dynamic player out of that second level, so do something with him. Use him as a weapon. Try to get him involved.
I was surprised to see Kenneth Murray play so much against a team that does so much eye candy. That is not his game. I thought Logan Wilson would play a lot more than Kenneth Murray.
They ain't got
Didn't
faith in
happen.
him either. I don't feel like.
I can't. How? I mean, if Kenneth Murray continues to outsnap him, they clearly can't. Which is weird because you traded for both of these dudes. Number one, you traded for both of them.
Yeah.
So is it because one makes more money? What is it? I wish somebody would ask, but they just have not figured this linebacker thing out, and it definitely showed in that game.
Well, I definitely expected to see Logan Wilson a little bit more, especially since he's a gentleman that,
He's heavy.
not the same guy, but he's known as the coverage linebacker guy. And they killed you there. They got a running back. They got Gibbs on your linebackers, and they also saw you. It was evident that they saw on film that your secondary struggles to come up and tackle sometimes, and that also to your linebackers struggle to be sideline to sideline and to trust what they're seeing, and they just ate up the flats. How you say all flats fried
Fried hard.
hard? They just ate up the
Oh,
flats all day with Jameer Gibbs, and it
there you
just
go.
wasn't nothing you can do about it.
You can tell that the game plan was we're going to get Gibbs in space. Like nobody can check him.
Oh,
I
nobody
mean,
could
right
tackle
away
him.
they went out and was like, "Yep, here we go." And Jameer Gibbs didn't go off on the ground. The touchdowns, yes, but I
Yeah, no,
mean,
yeah,
like,
he didn't go off on the ground.
yeah,
They
it was
they
the air.
well, that's the crazy part is where I'm like, well, it's insane because I do think that the team has improved against the run. But now it's like, okay, well, what about when you have a running back that can pass? Well, that can catch passes against your linebackers. Your second level is really, I mean, that was one of the worst linebacker outings I've seen from the team this
You know how many
this
times
year.
I've said that this year? I've said that a lot, probably a half dozen. I've said that a lot, and they are better, obviously, but I ain't gonna lie, it was a little shock to the system that yeah, collectively they didn't run well, but when they wanted to, they did.
Hmm.
Like that was frustrating. Like when they got into that green zone, here you go, Montgomery. And he did exactly what he did to you last year. You can't tackle me.
Yeah.
When they got to the actual goal line red zone area, you can't stop Gibbs. They just gave and ran when they wanted to. So it was like, damn, I thought we turned that page in that sense. And it was like, yeah, maybe between the 20s, but once we get down here, you can't stop us. And they just bullied you.
Well, one of the biggest, yeah, I mean, that's something I took from this game too, and I want to make sure that I say it. And I know that you don't want to hear it, but Dallas looked like a team that had been pulling itself up, like you said, since the Raiders game. You can't lose no games. You know how that has to feel to be like to carry. I can't
And
lose
then
any
in
more
that
games,
short stint, too.
and that short stance. And Detroit looked like the more, even despite the fact that they had guys coming off of injuries and things like that, they looked like the more physically equipped team as well. They out physical
They
Dallas,
did.
which and I know a lot of people want to lean on the fact that they out physical them. Dallas to that point, all three of those games, they out physical all those
Other
appointments,
teams. Yeah.
appointments, opponents, Raiders, Philly, and Kansas City. So I also saw, not in the way that maybe we expected to, I also saw fatigue. I see you see fatigue and the arm tackling and all that stuff. And again, the mental that you have to take yourself to I mean, playing at home maybe is different, but playing on the road has been harder for this team. They got to figure out how to win on the road, which brings me to my
Yep.
last point. Oh, well, we'll talk about the defense a little bit, but yeah, that's that they did out physical they out physical Dallas at the line of scrimmage.
I had mentioned this on the collective. We're talking about this matchup. I was like, I'm not really looking at the clipboard aspect of it in this week. I said for me, they're going to go up the next test. So I said they passed a couple tests. They passed, had a tragedy, had to win the game after the tragedy. You got a division game. You cannot lose if you want to remain in this thing. They passed that. Then you turn right around. You got the Kansas City test, right? That's Kansas City. That's clipboard warrior test. You passed that. I said, this
Hmm.
next one is actually going to be about going on the road and getting a quality victory on the road against
Yep.
a hungry, desperate team that, to me, you can throw all the X's and O's out of this thing. Are you going to be able to match that energy in that stadium with that head coach who comes out and exudes that type of mentality? Oh, by the way, they can't lose either. Right? Like they have to win too. And yes, they're playing with backups and all this stuff, and it is what it is. But can you match that? And they just didn't. Like they just didn't from the word go. The Detroit Lions pretty much gave it to them, and every time they tried to punch back, one side of the ball wasn't
Yep.
able to hold it up. So
Yep.
it was
Yeah.
one of those games, man, where they just felt like they wanted a little bit more.
Hmm.
And before we get to the offense, real quick, let me talk to you about Sleeper, man. We got Monday Night Football today. We need some help. Help me, please. Help me, please. We need the Eagles to take this L, but that does not mean you have to take an L. You can get some money off of
Money.
Sleeper by depositing up to $100 and getting a 100% match using the promo code STEEL, STEELE. They're also giving you a free $20 entry with no deposit needed if it's your first time on the app. So head on over, download the best, and I mean the best daily fantasy app in Sleeper. And let me give you my picks real quick for tonight. I got AJ Brown getting anytime touchdown. He's kind of on a tear the last couple weeks. He should be able to get in the end zone again. Jalen Phillips, a sack for Jalen Phillips? Yeah. The Chargers offensive line has had some issues over the years, and over this year, I mean, and I think Jalen Phillips can get him a sack. That should be easy, right? And then Amarion Hampton is returning to action. He's been missing most of the season. He gets Philly. They just gave up almost 300 rushing yards the week before, 48 and a half yards rushing. Give me the over. I'm sorry, give me more in regards to Amarion Hampton getting over 48 and a half rushing yards. So there you have it, man. Make sure you use my promo code STEEL, STEELE, to get a 100% match up to $100. Shots out to Sleeper. All right, now let's get to, if you want to say the elephant in the room, if you will. I just want to start off with the George Pickens conversation because I kind of want to dead it so we can actually get to actual football talk. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, George Pickens did not have a great outing. He did not have a great showing. In fact, Coach Shoddy said he talked to him about, the whole effort thing and his game that he had. But I did not foresee this snowballing in the manner that it did nationally and even within our fan base where people are now questioning George Pickens and questioning wanting to sign him. Nick Eatman just went on 105 through the fan and said, maybe they should franchise tag him because we to see more. I'm like, what? What more do you want to see from the all pro? Because that's what he is this year. He's an all pro that would make you say, you know what? Now we need to pay him. But yes, George Pickens short on some things, was very surprised. He wasn't that successful on some of those slants and in breaker routes. I do think he wasn't his physical self that he
Yeah.
had been prior.
Such a nice
Um,
way to put it.
yeah, it wasn't.
It's
He
a good
wasn't
way to
his
put it.
physical self, and that led to the interception. In my
Mhm.
opinion, we were just talking about this the other day, where we were like, "Hey, in the playoff game, you let it was Brandon Cooks let Jair Alexander run through him for the pick." But we was like, George Pickens would never let that happen. Well, George Pickens let it happen, and I think he would want that one back. People are talking
No.
about the one on the deep route where they said he gave up on a play or whatever. I do think he kind of just located the ball late. There were some things where you looked at it and you say, Is that an effort issue? But also he's kind of been running these type of routes and his pacing all year. This has really
Yeah,
been
this
who
is
he's been.
yeah.
So
This is it's, go ahead, sir.
I personally am not up in arms. I am not worried about George Pickens. This was not some Pittsburgh Steelers version of George Pickens where he's having a fit on the field, arguing with his coaches. He was probably the most calm, bad game I've ever seen.
Hmm.
This is not Antonio Bryant from early in the Parcells years where he throws his jersey at him. This is not even Dez Bryant where he's
Hmm.
on the sideline going crazy, whether it be good or bad. It was just a bad game, and I still believe in George Pickens long term. I believe in him short term, and unless this happens consistently, then yes. But I think this was a one off in the sense that it was a bad game combined with bad energy, combined with bad um, body language, etc. And it just happens, man.
Yeah. Oh my God, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Like sometimes it's the light too. But anyway, yeah. I agree with you. I thought that was a fantastic way to put it. To say, you didn't think he was as physical, I guess, is what he normally is. Like I tweeted that I was like, oh, now Pickens, you gotta be stronger at the catch point than that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause I know how he is. He snatches the ball out of
Yep.
the air, and he's not a guy that shies away from physicality. I mean, if so, then he wouldn't be breaking tackles and things like that. So I also too I think that Detroit did throw some things at Dallas that they hadn't done as much prior to include running a little bit more zone than they would before, but also too you don't plan for a CD Lamb to go out, but he did, and that makes the game plan easier for the other team, and so you got to figure out how to navigate that, and that was something that I felt like even in regard to Pickens. I agree with you. I don't really have no problem with him. I feel like it's been overblown. If you even see him on film, you see him run some clear out routes, you see him engaged. And when it comes to how he sets up his route running, I I don't know if you saw, I know you saw that clip when he was like, "Nice try, buddy." And he sounds like the Joker. That's what he reminds me of. He is that dude that will literally pull. He might pull a fake gun on you and it has a flower in it, or it might just really kaboom. Like he really is that guy when you talk about how he plays, and I think that he uses his suddenness and
Mm-hmm.
people kind of that lackadaisical, relaxed body language,
Yeah.
and that catches DBs off guard because sometimes they think it's a run. They don't know, they can't gauge in his stance. Because I'm telling you, like when he lines up on the line, depending on the play, you might get him full sprinting, you might get him doing that gazelle type thing he be doing because his legs are long, or you might see him look a little less disengaged. It hasn't affected how the Cowboys offense is run, but even looking at sounds of the sideline, he said it. He said like, "Oh, he thought I wasn't gonna do nothing," and I was like, "Ugh." Like, so he knows this is a tactic as well.
Yes.
So I don't think that it's just, oh, he's lazy. No, this is he likes catching guys off guard. I do think that the physicality in some points, like you were saying, I thought he could have played stronger through contact and stuff. But I don't care, Sky. Like I
Yeah.
hate that people are villainizing him. And I think it's the stakes of the game. I think that's mostly what it is that we know this is do or die for Dallas, and everyone was looking for Pickens to step up, especially when CD went down. And that didn't happen. So I think that because he didn't meet people's expectations, then that's why they're so frustrated.
And that's fine to want to criticize him for not showing up, right? Not having the best game. That I think those are two different conversations that people don't want to have. They're taking what a prominent name and former cornerback and Richard Sherman said publicly on live TV, and I don't necessarily think he was 100% wrong in that. Hey man, we need you to step up. We need you yada yada. I get that. You're right, but he may want the extra step of saying he's giving up or he doesn't want it and this and that. And it's like, look, man, I think that's a bit much. Again, not saying you're wrong and that he didn't show up for the moment, right?
Hmm.
Criticize that aspect. But then we're going to the next level of, well, maybe we shouldn't pay him or maybe we should get rid of him or maybe, let's, guys, those 4 quarters does not wipe away 13 games or whatever it's been, right? It just doesn't do that for me. So I have no worries about GP. If this happens the rest of the year, then yeah, maybe I'll look sideways. But until that happens consecutively, I'm not going to do that. Just not. So
Yeah, I'm not feeling it either.
let's get into the actual football aspect of offense. versus the Detroit Lions defense. And let me first give, if I'm going to give a shout out, or if you're going to give a shout out to Dan Campbell and them, I got to give a shout out to Kelvin Shepard. One of the things I wrote
Yeah.
on my notes after watching the film was schematically, we weren't getting guys open in this one. And
Right.
that hadn't happened a lot this year. And I think a lot of that was because Kelvin Joseph, if you want to talk about clipboard warriors, I think he won it just like I think Dan Campbell won the other way. But I think
Mm-hmm.
he won it in the sense of he knew I'm down my guys. So I have to make your guys hold it an extra tick. I have to make your
Oh,
guys think an extra tick. I can't we can't do the things we were doing over the last month of the season or all year in regards to predominantly man against this unit. Can't
yeah.
do it. we, we can't do it. So he, as you mentioned briefly, switched it up, played a lot more zone than you would normally see, brought pressure as they normally do. Uh, they made the Cowboys have to fight for every single inch, yard, and point.
Yeah.
And look, I always say this, and I truly do believe this. Maybe sans the Texans defense, but I feel like the Cowboys will always find a way and figure it out. And eventually, next thing you know, you look at the scoreboard and they got 25, 28, 30 points. I feel like that's always going to happen, which
Mm-hmm.
is why I always say it's critical for your defense just to give your offense some time. But boy, they did not make anything easy for
Mm.
Dak and these boys who Dak was pressured 20 times in this game. The tackles you had tweeted about you talked about the tackles just was bad, man. Terrence was bad. Nate was bad.
Nate was
And
bad.
then the guys up front all had their moments too. But I
Yeah,
have
they
not
combined for.
seen
Yeah.
Aleem McNeil walk Tyler Smith and Tyler Booker. I mean, walk those boys back,
Mm-hmm.
right? And BB had his struggles. It was just not a great night up front offensively and just in general. But I was just kind of just throwing up on the offense right here. Shoddy didn't call a great game. I don't think early. He didn't have an
I
answer. Let me
agree.
put it this way. I don't think he had a good counter in this
I
game.
that's what it is
Yeah.
that he didn't have a good counter. And again, that's something that we've seen this year. That's something that we should definitely be considering is like they were one of three in the red zone as well, which you've been talking about is that they need to be more efficient down there. Um, one of the biggest concerns to me, oh, you mentioned the interior. The interior gave up five pressures combined, um, which is whatever, but yeah, they did. And
It's not great.
yeah, the tackles. I mean, the tackles really struggled, and in a game where you lost a CD Lamb, you're now having to the middle of the field is open quite a bit. You're not able to really take advantage of that in certain spots because your tight end is having to help out, kind of chip,
I'm
like your
sick of
running
it.
backs had to have to chip and things like that. And you're down a receiving option already. So now you're having to predicate resources to help out this tackle. And I know Dallas tried. They tried to leave him on an island, specifically Nate. They tried to leave him on an island as long as they could until they start kind of bringing somebody over to help out because it was just he was a turn cycle. So I was really disappointed in his output. Aiden Hutchinson is not an easy out, but at
No.
the same time, like
But
spin your partner round and
they
round.
were not a good pass rushing team, even with
That's
Aiden
what was
Hutchinson.
that was what was insane. And that's why I said what I said about fatigue. That's why I said what I said because we've seen Dallas go up against better defensive lines over the course of this little run they were on, and they out physicaled all of them. I had a 3-game sample size of them. If you want to be technical, I have a 4-game sample size because they out Philly the first game of the season to me. So I'm sitting here like, okay, this offensive line has been playing better football. And even with their blitzes, yes, they do bring some linebacker blitzes. They bring some guys on the interior. I'm not sure if they brought Brian Branch at all before he got injured, but it still felt like Dallas should have been in position to be able to hold up. And I could not get over the push that they were getting from that defensive line. I mean, it was insane, Sky. Dak
Yeah.
was running for his damn life.
Yeah, that was he was pressured almost on half of his passes. It felt like, man, and even the ones he got off, he couldn't. I think he had a touchdown to CD Lamb down the middle, who just destroyed DJ Moore. By the way, all five of his receptions for
He
over
was
100
killing
yards.
before he got injured. I
Yeah,
mean, he was having whatever he
CD
wanted.
was gonna go the heck off on them boys. But there was a play down the middle, and this is why I hate when this is why I don't tweet during the games because people they don't They don't wait to see the rest of what's happening. Oh, he underthrew him. And then look, he wasn't perfect in the game, obviously, in Dak Prescott. But boy, he played a fantastic game, in my opinion, given what
I agree.
no run game. He had no pass blocking, lost his top guy. It was tough. But there was a play down the middle. CD beat DJ Moore, and I think he puts it out there. He's probably gonna score a touchdown. And everybody's like, "Yo, what happened?" Well, you go look at the damn all 22. Tyler Booker got walked
Mm,
right into Dak Prescott's lap, and Dak, I don't know how he got it off, but he got it off without stepping into the throw because he
I
couldn't.
saw that.
And so it had to hang a little bit, and CD caught it, and it was a penalty as well. But I think if he's able to step into that thing's out in front. I think he scores a touchdown.
Yeah. What play? What is it? Was it that took away the George Pickens PI? Was that in
That,
this game?
that was his game.
Yeah. Well, who? What was the
That was
penalty?
Ferg though. That
That
wasn't.
was Ferg.
Yeah, that was Ferg hands to
And
the
that's
face.
another conversation. Like, cause I know me and you are Ferg. We don't play about Ferg. Me and you.
Well, I got to circle here physicalness. There's two plays to me that stand out that they wanted it more. One was the George Pickens, I'm sorry, Ryan Flanoy, who had a fantastic game, by the way, went this whole show. Shouts out to Ryan Flanoy. Shouts out to Flo. He's looking fantastic. But he dropped the ball that was put, or got to take it from, whatever you want to call it, right in
The
his
pick,
hands,
the last pick.
gets to take it from him. DJ Moore bobbles and he picks it. That's a play of physicality, and I wanted more. And the Jake
Hmm.
Ferguson fumble. I get the effort, Ferg, but it's 3rd and 21. Playboy, they got you wrapped up. You did a all flash fried hard. You know you ain't getting much after that the last couple years, and I don't know why you're trying to make an extra couple inches. And I don't know who it was came over, knocked the ball out, and that's his 3rd fumble of the year. Him and George Pickens have fumbled the ball too much this year. 4 for
That's
George
his.
Pickens, 3rd for Ferg. They got to clean that. They got to clean it up
I'm pretty sure that Bree said on Girls Talk Boys Talk today that that is Ferguson's seventh.
over the last 2 years.
s- Oh yeah, over the last 2 years, which is a lot. And here's the thing: is like I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. Like ball security has not been great with this team all year. It's
Mm-hmm.
just come in different spurts, but it has hurt you in multiple spots. I mean, because again, the first game of the season, we can talk about CD's drops, but the
Sanders.
red zone fumble was huge as well. So um with Ferguson, I mean, and also too, that's just where football's going. It's like the peanut punch is something that is it's strongly implemented. And also too, we've seen an uptick in yak yardage in the league in the last 4 to 5 years. So you see more guys that are a lot of times just trying to punch the ball out and not even trying to tackle. So this is something you need to be aware of. If you're a guy that wants extra yak yardage, you cannot just be holding the ball all willy nilly. So
But why?
I
Why? There's no yak there, Ferg.
there's no there, exactly, like, just go down, hold the ball, and
I,
again, like you said, this isn't the first time that this has happened.
it's all
So I'm
fumbles.
I'm definitely like we got to see Brevin Span Ford kind of climb the ladder, have a nice catch. Like I'm really ready to see a little bit more in the receiving game from the other tight end too. But another thing that stood out to me, Sky, and I wanted to ask you about it. When you look at Dallas and a lot of their losses, especially the ones on the road, they're in a like we saw, we saw Detroit just decide to play some shell. Like Dallas has to figure out if they can't run the ball, then what? If they're efficiently not running the ball, then what? Because I feel like I'm noticing a trend of when they struggle to run the ball, because again, Shotty's talk about the run being married to the pass, all those things. But there is a trend that this offense struggles when they can't run the ball, and you need to be able to run the ball in situations like this where that they're just dropping guys in coverage. You need to be able to do something that's threatening to get them out of it or take somebody out of coverage.
I think it's an interesting thought. I don't have the same concerns because you have such a dynamic passing game in regards to
I
Ferg,
mean, yeah,
Dak,
but
CD,
but
Pickens.
what happens when it doesn't happen? Like you couldn't run the ball and you couldn't really pass the ball this
And you
game.
scored 30
So
points. I think where the problem lies is the red zone. That's where not being
that's
able to
probably
run the
fair.
ball is the worst part. Between the 20s, I don't really worry about it because you can throw the ball against anybody as long as you block it up. But when you get to the red zone, what made them such a dynamic red zone team early in the year was you were scoring rushing touchdowns. How many rushing
Yes.
touchdowns did old boy get? It was just constantly,
Yeah, Javante had a whole bunch. So that I guess
constantly.
that's my concern.
Yeah,
That's
so
more
it's
my
it goes
concern.
back to the red zone thing for me. I if teams want to play 7, 8, 9 in the box or whatever, and please be my. I don't give a damn. We don't run the ball one single time, but you're not wrong in that the run game is married to the pass game, and I think a lot of that is between the 20 stuff. But when you get to the red zone, can you run it in? And they have not. They've not.
Yeah.
They've been throwing it way too much, and not even the red zone. Goal to goal line. They've been throwing it so much. And it's just like at some point you're gonna throw a pick, and what happens? He throws an interception, not in this game, but a red zone interception.
Yeah.
Was it the Chief? Was it Chiefs game? One of them games
It
over
was Philly.
Philly. There you go. So it's like you have to be able to. To me, I need them to run the ball better in the red zone. They're going to have games where you don't run the ball great, but most teams don't have a Dak Prescott, C.D. Lamb, George Pickens to to pick up that slack. But I don't care what you got. The field shortens on the 5 yard line. I'll drop 7 guys back. You can only send 2, 3 guys in a route. If you can't run the ball, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and Dallas has struggled to do that, and I think that's something. Like I
Mightily.
said, I think that that's something that's concerning to me. When you, I mean, just to kind of tack on to the conversation, and on the road, it's even worse. Like at home, they're better, but on the road, it's been even less efficient. So when you're talking about the red zone woes, this is something that moving forward, I want to see them improve on, get back to running the ball when you're close to the goal line and being efficient. Because when you start doing all that passing stuff, before you know it, you got a hold and you backed up. And Dallas has, like you said, I don't even know. We got to see their red zone numbers. What are they?
They were 13th last I checked, but they were a top 5 team in the league the first half of the season. Or honestly, half, like the first, I think, quarter of the season. And it just,
Mhm.
it has not been good. It's been very inconsistent. And that was before the rest of the season or the rest of the week went off. So they could
Mhm.
drop if other teams, jumped them. So it's the red zone is definitely become a inconsistency down there. They cannot run it as good as they did down. They're not being blocked as well either. If you go look
Mm.
at some of these games, Arizona comes to mind because I think about what Walter Nolan did. Uh, this game here, like they just penalties with the offensive lineman too. We see Tyler Guyton get down there and it backs him up. It's just like y'all, we got to be a lot. The operation has to be a lot more cleaner in the red zone than
Mhm.
it's been. Look, I actually believe in Clayton Adams and Shoddy to figure that out for 2026. But right now, it has to get cleaned up if they want to get to where they want to be.
Honestly, too, I want to say, before we move on, is I expected there to be some bumps in the road with the offense, because you are really, like, when you look at this offense and you look at like a
It's
Mike
brand
McCarthy
new.
offense, you would argue that this is brand new.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured when you go from being a lot more stagnant, uh, well, a lot more static, as you say, a lot more a lot less motions and creativity, in that sense, that the uptick, that there would be some growing pains in this offense getting accustomed to,
Yeah.
the differences in the play caller. So I'm not surprised by some of it. Also, you got some young guys and stuff like that, but it is something that I hope, as we look forward to the rest of the season, how they improve on that to finish the season. I hope it's something that they're evaluating
And
amongst
I can live
themselves.
with this, and it's because you're averaging 30 points a game. Like
Yeah, I know.
I
I mean, we sound like we
like that's
crying.
crazy to me. Like this offense, the team in general, but the offense in the first year has had its growing pains. It's had its warts or things that need to get better. But when I look at them, like these are things that can actually improve, though. Like this isn't
Oh,
something that
absolutely.
looks like, damn, this is insurmountable. Like, bro, we can't do this. No, no, these are things they've shown they can do.
Mhm.
Teams maybe have matched it. Maybe your players, the guys coming back or guys getting worn down. Another aspect that may be happening with our guy Javante, by the way. Um, that may play in factor. Maybe you get better tackles, you get better running backs next year. It'll be more consistent. But boy, you tell me, hey man, this is the issues following the 2025 season offensively. They were inconsistent in the red zone. O line was very wishy washy, sometimes bad, sometimes really good, sometimes average or whatever. Um, Got to correct the fumbles. I'm like, all right, sign some better offensive linemen. Okay, all right.
Mhm.
Block it up better, and be more disciplined down in the red zone. They show they
Mhm.
can run the ball down. These things can improve. So I'm
Yeah.
still very optimistic about the offense's future. But the immediate future, they have to clean the red zone stuff up. They have to stop shooting themselves in the foot with the turnovers. No fumbles, no drop passes, interceptions, no bad reads, interceptions. And then they have to punch this thing in down in the red zone from a running standpoint so that when you do throw the rock, it's easy. Because right
Yeah,
now it's not easy to throw the ball in the red zone because teams know you can't run it anymore in the red zone, which is weird.
which is it. It's crazy to think about.
Right.
Like it is,
From the
especially
start of the season to now.
yeah, especially with what you were saying, especially too what you were saying as far as like there being them being good at it before. It's like, well, what happened? Like
And I don't
what
think they're doing much differently. I do think he's getting a little bit like too pass happy in that sense. But when they try to run it, like I promise you, it's not like they're blocking it up all crazy and just bulldozing people over. I think he's getting a little trigger happy in the sense that, oh, we only got a yard, now I'm gonna throw it. It's like, try again. Let's see if we can keep bulldozing this thing closer. He's getting a
mhm.
bit too antsy on the trigger to throw the rock, in my opinion, down there.
Yeah, that's something that I'm looking for with Shotty is like with respect to this being like his first year as a head coach,
Yeah.
play caller, all those things, there's things that he's gonna eventually have like, those plays that he knows he can go to in the red zone, stuff like that. I'm just waiting to see it, like the consistency of it, especially when it comes to the run game. Because Javante has a good nose for the end zone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When he's close enough, he has a good nose for the end zone. So yeah, I'm not like you said, I'm not down on the offense and what they have going on. I think they have things to clean up, like you're saying, but I don't feel like this is not something you can build upon, improve,
Yeah.
evolve. Like there's a good foundation that's been set there. I agree.
That is an excellent way to say that and close that out. There is to me, I know some fans don't want to hear any of this because they win the Super Bowl. I get that, but let's be realistic. First year, you know, head coach knew this, knew that. I don't think that was ever going to be the realistic view. So for me, it's like, can you build that real foundation moving forward? And I think he's done that in the with the locker room culture, because I do
Mhm.
believe there's two cultures: there's an organizational culture and there's a locker room culture. I think
Mhm.
he's built that there, and then offensively, I think he's built a foundation to build upon moving forward. You saw it with the Shanahans of the world, with the McVays of the world. There's a basis, there's a foundation, and they build on that each year. And I'm excited to see what that looks like moving forward.
Me too. Really hoping that Pickens and maybe Javante is are a part of that because when you talk about the foundation, I mean those two guys have been very important
Hey,
to
look, man, give me
setting
at
it.
least give me Pickens. I can upgrade the running back room in my
At least
opinion,
give
but
me
give
Pickens.
me
I can live
Pickens. And
without.
shouts out to Javante. There's no disrespect. It's just there's times we said this. There's times where I'm like, see, that's why we need that other guy. Like that's why you need that
Yeah,
two guy. And but it'd be awesome if we can just get that Bijan type guy. We ain't gotta worry about it. But
you're sick.
even Bijan got Algier or whatever how you say his last name. So all
Mm,
jokes aside, man, I do think you might want to look into to upgrading the room next year. Not just with
yeah,
him, just in general. So there's that. Cowboys, Vikings, Sunday night. Another must win. Another must win. Hopefully, we're coming back here next week with smiles on our faces because we got the dub instead of having to do the Joker, force the smile on our faces to
mhm.
get through.
Listen, I don't care what no one says. If this team is able to get to 10 wins after the
Oh,
way that
that's an
this defense looked
accomplishment.
for the majority of the year and everything, we look at do yourself
You just muted yourself.
do yourself a favor and look at I have to do it again the same way. Do yourself a favor and look around at the division. I think Dallas will have his opportunities.
I need the Cowboys to change their energy though for next week and get this dub against the Minnesota Vikings and go Chargers. This is the
Oh,
Sky 2 show. We see y'all next week. Bye.
and go Chargers.
I don't even know why I say it like that. Go Chargers.